Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Have you ever stopped to think about the quiet power behind some of the world's really famous wines? We're talking about those unsung heroes, the grapes that aren't always in the spotlight, but are absolutely indispensable. They do a lot of the heavy lifting. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one specific grape. Rondinella. It's a true co-star, really a fundamental pillar of Valpolicella's iconic wines. So our mission today is to uncover its history, its role in the vineyard, its potential, and why it's so much more than just, well, a filler grape. And this deep dive is built on some fascinating sources, including insights from the Rondinella ebook. Okay, so here's the interesting thing, the paradox. Rondinella is always there in big wines like Amarone and Ripasso, but it hardly ever gets the solo attention. It's a key part of the blend, sure, but you don't often hear it celebrated on its own. So let's unpack this. What makes this seemingly secondary grape so important?
That's right. Corvina often gets the credit for the complex aromas, but Rondinella is, well, it's genuinely indispensable. It provides crucial structure. And that vibrant acidity, that freshness, that's often Rondinella. Plus, it does bring its own unique notes, often that fresh cherry, maybe a subtle herbaceousness. It complements everything without taking over.
Right, so it's got character, even as part of the team. And speaking of unique things, the name, Rondinella means little swallow in Italian. That's kind of charming. Why a swallow?
It is charming, and there's a legend, really two parts to it. First, the color. Mature berries have this dark, purplish blue hue that apparently resembles a swallow's iridescent feathers. But maybe more importantly, the story goes that swallows, and actually other birds and insects too, tend to avoid Rondinella grapes
Oh, why is that?
because the pulp is naturally less sweet, so it's less appealing to pests. It gives the grape this inherent natural resistance, which really hints at its later strengths in the vineyard.
Huh. Visually striking and naturally tough, like nature's little bodyguard. So, given these strengths, how have winemakers in Veneto traditionally used it?
Well, it's been grown there for centuries, definitely since the late 1800s, and its path has always been as a blending grape. Traditionally, it's part of this dynamic trio. Corvina brings body and aroma, Molinara adds acidity and maybe some herbaceous hints, and Rondinella, it steps in with deep color and that essential tannic structure. That structure helps with longevity, protects against oxidation. It was absolutely crucial in the rise of the great Valpolicella wines, especially Amarone.
Okay, so definitely not just a supporting player. Let's look at the vine itself. How does it manage to thrive and contribute so much? What makes the Rondinella vine so robust?
Well, ampelographically speaking, looking at the vine's features, Rondinella is known for being vigorous, naturally productive. It has these medium-sized, vibrant leaves, and the bunches are quite distinctive, elongated, and compact. But the real standout feature, its greatest strength probably, is its skin. It's remarkably thick and very dark, almost ebony.
A thick, dark skin. Okay, that sounds important. So, what are the practical benefits of that, especially for those powerful Valpolicella wines?
Oh, that thick skin is everything for Rondinella. It's like armor. It gives it amazing resistance against all sorts of threats, pests, common fungal diseases like mildew, powdery mildew, botrytis, which means fewer chemical treatments needed in the vineyard. That lines up really well with sustainable practices. And crucially, that tough skin is fundamental for the Appassimento process.
The drying process, right.
Exactly. It allows the grapes to resist rot during those long months of drying needed for wines like Amarone.
That's fascinating. So its physical makeup is key for survival and for the wine style itself. What about where it grows? What's its ideal terroir?
It's adaptable,
Right.
but it really thrives in calcareous, those limestone and clay soils. You find plenty of that in the rolling hills of Veneto. Those soils provide essential minerals. Altitude is also pretty important.
Higher up is better.
Yes. Cooler climates at higher elevations help retain that vibrant natural acidity. Keeps the wines from getting too heavy or, flabby. Plus, the breezes and the bigger temperature swings between day and night up there. That helps develop more refined aromas and allows for slower, more gradual ripening.
Loves a good view and a cool breeze then. And managing it in the vineyard, is it difficult?
Actually, no. It's considered relatively simple to manage. Pruning mostly focuses on controlling the yield because it is naturally productive. So, by reducing the number of bunches, the vine concentrates its energy into fewer, higher quality grapes. That means richer sugars, acids, and those important phenolic compounds, the things that give wine color, aroma, texture, essential for top quality wine.
Right. So we've seen it toughing it out in the vineyard, but what happens in the cellar and then in the glass? What does Rondinella actually taste and smell like?
While aromatically, it brings these delicate but really captivating notes. Mostly fresh cherry, think sour cherry, wild cherry, maybe even richer Amarena cherry. You also often get hints of almond, sometimes fresh, sometimes toasted, maybe slightly bitter, and often a fresh herbaceous touch, like mint or basil. In blends, it can bring out floral notes too, like violet and rose. Adds freshness, complexity. But its key contribution on the palate, that vibrant acidity, gives it life, balance, a clean finish. It's not usually super tannic, but the tannins it does bring are vital for structure and aging.
That's a really nice layered profile. And you mentioned how crucial it is in the blend. How does it specifically work with Corvina and Molinara? What's the synergy?
The synergy is pretty cool, actually. With Corvina, Rondinella's bright acidity and freshness cut through Corvina's richness, prevents the wine from being too heavy, and it lifts the aromas, those floral almond notes. It's all about balance. And with Molinara, well, Molinara can be pale and light on tannins, even though it has good acidity. Rondinella adds the needed color depth and some soft tannins, fills the gaps, makes the wine more complete.
So it really is the harmonizer. But the most famous role, obviously, is in those Appassimento wines like Amarone. Why is it such a star in that drying process?
Ah, the Appassimento. That long, careful drying of the grapes after harvest. That's where Rondinella's thick skin is just irreplaceable. It allows the grapes to resist rot and dry out evenly over months. And that process, it concentrates everything exponentially, sugars, aromas, extracts, those polyphenols. Honestly, without Rondinella, making high-quality Passito wines like Amarone would be, well, significantly harder, maybe even impossible in many cases.
Impossible. Wow, that really drives home how important it is. Okay, so let's walk through how Rondinella shapes the different Valpolicella wines. Maybe we can think about them in, say, three groups. Lighter styles, richer aged ones, and the Appassimento wines, plus maybe the rare single varietal.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So for the lighter, more immediate styles, like your basic Valpolicella Classico, Rondinella helps give it that bright ruby color, the fresh cherry, maybe some herbaceous notes. It contributes to that refreshing acidity in medium body. Perfect everyday Italian red, right? Then you move up to the richer, aged blends like Valpolicella Superiore. Here, Rondinella helps build more concentration. You get riper red fruit, maybe some spice like black pepper or cinnamon. The tannins feel more velvety, the finish lasts longer.
And then the big ones, the Appassimento wines.
Exactly. First, Valpolicella Ripasso. That's what they repass the wine over Amarone skins for second fermentation. Rondinella is essential here for adding body, complexity. Those aromas of dried fruit raisins, figs, maybe chocolate, spices, gives it structure and persistence. Then, the king, Amarone della Valpolicella. Here, Rondinella's acidity is like the hidden backbone. It stops this really rich, opulent wine from feeling heavy or cloying. The long drying concentrates everything. Dried red fruits, aged tobacco, dark chocolate, earthy notes, powerful but smooth tannins.
And we shouldn't forget the sweet version.
Right, Recioto della Valpolicella. The sweet sibling, same dried grapes. But they stop the fermentation early to keep the sugar. Rondinella's natural acidity here is absolutely vital to balance that sweetness, otherwise it would just be syrupy. You get stewed red fruits, dried figs, spice like cinnamon and clove, maybe honey. And lastly, yes, the rare but interesting monovarietal Rondinella, just Rondinella on its own. These really let you see its core character, that lively acidity, the clear cherry notes, the herbaceous side, maybe mint, and often a pleasant bitterness on the finish.
It really sounds like it wears many hats depending on how it's handled. So if we want to really appreciate a wine where Rondinella is playing a key role, what should we be looking for? Any sensory guideposts?
Okay, yeah. Visually, young wines will be that brilliant ruby, maybe with violet glints. Aged ones, or the Appassimento wines, deep into garnet, maybe showing orange or coppery hints at the rim. On the nose, listen for those cherry notes, fresh, sour, wild Amarena, plus almond. Often floral hints, maybe violet or rose. For the Appassimento wines, expect deeper stuff. Tobacco, dark chocolate, coffee, sweet spices, even earthy notes like damp earth or resin.
And on the palate, what's the key takeaway?
Acidity. A noticeable, refreshing acidity is the hallmark. Gives it liveliness, cleanses the palate, which is great for food. Generally medium-bodied, tannins usually soft, velvety. The finish should linger, echoing those red fruits, maybe with some spice or that subtle bitterness in complex versions.
Okay, that leads perfectly to the dinner table. How do we pair these versatile wines? What are your top suggestions?
Right. Well, for the young and light ones, like Valpolicella Classico, think fresh and light food too. Great with salads, especially with some goat cheese or fruit. Light pasta dishes, simple tomato sauce, pesto. Fresh cheeses like mozzarella or burrata. White meats, grilled chicken, delicate fish. Even light cured meats like prosciutto di Parma.
And for the richer, heavier hitters, the Amarone and Ripasso.
Okay, for the Appassimento wines, you need robust flavors to match. Ideal with strong red meats. Steak, roast lamb, ribs, game like wild boar or venison. They're fantastic with aged hard cheeses like Parmigiano Reggiano or even pungent blue cheeses like gorgonzola, rich stews, mushroom risottos. They can handle it. And maybe surprisingly, a good Amarone can be amazing with high-quality dark chocolate, like 70% cacao plus.
Interesting. So looking ahead, you mentioned this growing appreciation. Is Rondinella really having a moment? What's its future look like?
I think it really is experiencing a renaissance, yeah. There's this bigger trend of appreciating indigenous grapes, local identity. But crucially, its resistance to climate change is huge. The fact that it can maintain acidity and balance sugars even when it's hot and challenging, that makes it a really smart, resilient choice for the future. Plus, you have innovative producers really exploring its potential now, even making those single varietal wines we talked about, really trying to understand its pure expression.
That's great news, both for wine drinkers and for the environment. And if people want to taste wines where Rondinella is handled expertly, who are some key Valpolicella producers to look for?
Oh, definitely. Among the top tier, you have Allegrini. Their Amarone Classico is iconic. Zenato makes a fantastic Amarone DOCG. Tedeschi, especially their Amarone Classico Reserva Capitelmonte Olmi, is exceptional. And there are many other great contributors too, reliably using Rondinella well in their blends. Think Montresor, Cantina Leonardo da Vinci, Luigi Righetti. Lots of quality out there showing what this grape can do as part of the team.
Fantastic. So, wrapping up this deep dive, we've really seen Rondinella's journey from being this subtle supporting character to being recognized as an essential pillar of Valpolicella. We've uncovered its unique gifts, that natural toughness in the vineyard, the vibrant acidity keeping wines fresh, and its absolutely critical role in concentrating flavors for those amazing Appassimento wines. So the next time you pour a glass of Valpolicella or a Ripasso, or especially Amarone, maybe pause for a second. Try to find that quiet strength, that bright acidity, that little hint of wild cherry, and know you're tasting the enduring spirit of the little swallow grape. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other unsung heroes might be shaping the things we love, just waiting for us to notice their story?